Fleetwood Town have had a crazy season so far. Their owner was jailed for 13 years in the summer for fraud, and his son has taken the mantle as Fleetwood Town owner. They recently sacked Charlie Adam as manager after a poor run of form, employed Pete Wild, the former Barrow boss, and they currently sit 14th in the League 2 table. The Cods have been on a wild ride since being relegated from League 1. So today, I think the Cod Army need a pick-me-up. So today, we are jumping into FC25. We are going to take charge of the Cods with the end goal of winning the UCL trophy. However, today's rebuild will come with a catch. We will only be able to sign free agents in this rebuild, so this could get interesting. And if you are a fan of the content, boys, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it does really help me out. We're trying to get 5,000 subscribers on this channel. So let's now jump into FC25 and get this Fleetwood Town rebuild on the way. So this is the Fleetwood Town team we have loaded into in FC25, and it's not the worst team on paper, but it is yet another side playing this pesky 5 at the back. Honestly, not a fan. Now, the current best player at the football club is Brendan Weirdo. This guy, oh my god, in real life, how is he playing in League 2? Bolton, if you've got any scouts watching, sign this man. We need him. He's 66 rated, 24-year-old, fantastic player in FC25. We also have a very promising young centre-back in Zach Medley, who's 66 rated and 23-year-old. 2 66 rated centre-backs at League 2 level is very strong, and we should have a decent defence in season number 1. We also have a very exciting young centre attacking midfielder in Mark Helm, who's 22-year-old and 64 rated. He looks like a decent player. So on the initial inspection, Fleetwood do actually have a pretty decent team at League 2 level, and I definitely think even with the current players that we've got, we can actually get promoted in season number 1. But first things first, this formation is 100% getting changed. So we've changed the formation, and we have decided on the 3-4-1-2 formation, as I think this is the best formation that currently suits Fleetwood Town. The squad is lacking wingers though, so we will have to identify a winger in the current transfer window, but the starting 11's looking very strong. That back three and goalkeeper is very, very good for League 2 level, and I don't expect us to concede many goals this season. This allows us to play a free at the back. However, our forward options are slightly lacking. Coughlin and Harrah aren't the best, so we will look to improve in that position. However, as we know, we are stuck to just free agents only, and some of the better free agents who are currently available will not drop down to the 4th division of English football, so it could be a pretty difficult first transfer window. Now, speaking of transfer windows, Fleetwood start off with £1 million in the bank, which is not a lot of money, especially when you consider the fact that a lot of first team players are out of contracts at the end of the season. So we are now going to go away, search the free agents list, and see who we can find to bring into Fleetwood Town. Now, we have managed to pick up 2 new signings for Fleetwood Town. However, we missed out on pretty much every single one of our main transfer targets, as they just would not drop down to League 2. Our first signing is Marko Pasalic, a 23-year-old 70 rated right midfielder. He looks very, very good. Decent stats, 70 rated at League 2 is fantastic. On 10 grand a week, 4-year deal, and he's instantly our first choice right midfielder. And we have brought a first choice striker to the club. Kamal Sowa has joined the club on a 4-year deal on 10 grand a week. He is 24-year-old, 67 rated, has fantastic stats, quite pacey, and at 67 rated in League 2, he'll be one of the best strikers in the league, and hopefully he can score plenty of goals for us. And with Pasalic and Sowa added to the starting 11, this will be the Fleetwood Town team to take us into season number 1. I think that team on paper is definitely League 1 standard, and I'll be disappointed if we're not promoted in season number 1. We've also got a decent bench as well for League 2, plenty of options on there in all positions. However, if we want to win the League 2 title in season number 1, we have to nail the tactics, and we are going with a tiki-taka tactical preset for Fleetwood Town. I think we've got one of the best squads in the league with plenty of players who are ball-playing players, and I do think the tiki-taka tactical preset in the 3-4-1-2 formation will get the best out of this bunch of lads. Now, after the signings of Sowa and Pasalic, we're left with 270 grand in the bank, meaning there'll be no more incomings in this window, but I am expecting a few outgoings, so we're not simulating forward straight through to the end of the season just yet. So we've spent the entirety of our summer trying to sell players who are surplus to requirements, but we just haven't had any bids at all come in for our players, which is really concerning. However, this means we cannot renew a single player's contract who you can see on the screen at the minute, which is really concerning for me. However, we do still have the January window. Hopefully someone will make a bid for our players then. However, a positive is I can't see any of these players being in my long-term plans in this rebuild, so we could always replace most of them next season. We are now officially at the end of the transfer window. No one has left the club, so we are going to be simulating forward straight through to the end of the season. We definitely want to be getting promoted to League 1 at the first time of asking, as our squad is far too good for League 2, and I do want to move on some players for actual transfer fees in the meantime. So we've arrived at the end of season number 1, boys, and we have secured promotion to League 1, finishing second in the League 2 table on 84 points, scoring 93 goals. I'm finding a bit of a common theme recently that it's very easy to score goals with attacking formations in FC25. I'm willing to bet Sowa scored most of them goals, by the way. And we actually got to the semi-finals of the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, where we lost to Cambridge United on penalties. very nearly adding a trophy to our trophy cabinet. They're in the FA Cup and Carabao Cup. We were knocked out in the first round, and this is the Fleetwood Town team that has got us promotion in season number 1, and it's looking very, very strong. We've had excellent growth all across the pitch. I actually think this team will do really well in League One and will probably be better than some League One sides straight away, but we will have a transfer window to improve the squad, where I think we need to bring a new striker in to place Coughlin, as it's not good enough for League One football. I'd like to bring a central midfielder in, as Broom and Virtue are aging and won't grow by much more. I think we need to bring in a goalkeeper to replace Lynch, as he's 65 rated and 32-year-old and will start to decline soon, and Bolton is 30-year-old, 64 rated, another player in the starting 11 who needs to be replaced. So a striker, centre mid, centre back and goalkeeper, and I would be very, very happy. Now in terms of stats, it was very, very obvious, weren't it? Kamal Sowa was our best player, getting 36 goals and 11 assists. He really is a class above League 2 standard, and I'm really confident these players can deliver again in season number 2. So let's now get into season number 2 and see how we get on in League 1. So we've arrived in season number 2 and the board are being very, very generous. £5 million has been added to our transfer account, and now the hard work starts bringing the right personnel in, because I think if we nail these signings, we have got a good chance of securing back-to-back promotions. Now we have gone out into the transfer market, boys, and brought 4 players into the club who I think really improve our first team. We've brought goalkeeper Adrian Guzman in. He is 17-year-old, 69 rated, looks like a fantastic goalkeeper with plenty potential, and I think he'll smash it in League 1 this season. We then brought in a centre-back who could be one of the best in the entire division. Stefane Bangura joins us on a 4-year deal. He's 71 rated, 19-year-old, fantastic stats. Again, I think this is a fantastic pickup. We then brought in central midfielder Alexis Gutierrez, who is 69 rated and 25-year-old, really, really decent player for League 1 level. Signs a 3-year deal, and I think he could definitely be a linchpin in getting us to the championship. And finally, we brought in a striker, Rhian Brewster, who is 25-year-old and 69 rated, tipped for big, big things in the early years of his career, but he has been savaged by injury. We're giving him a fresh start in League 1 with Fleetwood Town, and we're going to hope his goals can help fire us to the championship. And with all the new signings added to our starting 11, this is how the team is looking heading into season number 2. We have got such a strong team on paper for League 1 level. I don't think we'll have enough to get automatic promotion, as I think the squads who have been relegated from the championship will be stronger than us, but I see no reason at all why we can't get into the playoffs this season. We've also got a decent bench, boys, a couple of options on there, definitely need strengthening in further seasons, but as rotation players, these lot will do for me. Now we do have quite a lot of players that are contracts at the end of the season, so we're going to be renewing all of these contracts. I don't want to lose anyone for free in this rebuild. However, there will be no more incomings in this window. Now we're also not expecting anyone to leave the club in this transfer window, so as far as I'm concerned, our preparation for season 2 is complete, and we are now simulating forward straight through to the end of the season. And as we've already said, I would love us to secure a playoff position. We've arrived at the end of season 2, boys, and we have only gone and won the League 1 title on 91 points, securing promotion to the championship. What an opening 2 seasons we have had as Fleetwood Town, boss. 2 back-to-back automatic promotions, which we love to see. Our performance in the cups wasn't the best, boys. We got knocked out in the first round of the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, and we didn't get out of the league phase in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. But on a more positive note, the starting 11 is looking very, very strong. Guzman is 75 rated, along with Sower, 2 fantastic players who are definitely championship standard. I think looking across the team as a whole, we have got around 8 players in the starting 11 who are championship standard. Going into season number 3, we definitely need to replace Patterson, Broom and Weirdo. They are all decent players who will have roles to play off the bench, but are they solid championship level players? No, and they are going to need replacing. And by putting them 3 players onto our bench, it does elevate the level of player we have got on the bench as well, which is really important for me, as that bench is not good enough for the championship. And I do feel like if we can bring 3 great free agent signings into the club and we keep seeing growth from our current players, I'm not expecting us to get automatic promotion, but I do think we can be in the mix of playoffs in season number 3, which would be emphatic. Now in terms of stats, Rhian Brewster was a fantastic signing. He was our top scorer, getting 23 goals and also contributing 2 assists. But Kamal Sowa is still our best player, boys. 22 goals and 9 assists. That is a fantastic return from our star man. So what a season number 2 was. We have actually won the Sky Bet League 1 title, adding a trophy to our trophy cabinet. We are now a championship side, and all eyes are on us getting to the Premier League. So we have arrived in season number 3, boys, and the board have given us £6 million to improve our team, and this is really good, as we can now try and attract a higher level player from the free agents list. Now heading into season 3, boys, we have picked up 4 free agents, and I am not lying when I say this. We mean business in season 3. Kicking things off, the first player we brought to the club was left midfielder Darko Cherlinov. He is 25 years old, 72 rated, has very nice stats, and he is a huge upgrade on Patterson out on the left. We would then bring in exciting young central midfielder Vedan Sarkisian. He is 18 years old, 72 rated, has fantastic attributes and is showing great potential. He is going straight into our starting 11. And we have also brought another first choice central midfielder into the club, Lewis O'Brien, 27 year old and 74 rated with fantastic stats and 90 stamina. In real life, he has really struggled since leaving Huddersfield Town. Hopefully he can kick on his career at the Cods. And now, boys, it is time for the pick of the bunch. One of the best signings we are going to make throughout this entire rebuild, Giovanni Bianco, 19 year old, 78 rated centre back who is showing great potential, worth 14.5 million with outstanding defensive stats. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this man will be one of the best centre backs in the Championship, rounding off what I think has been an outstanding transfer window. And with all our new signings in the starting 11, this will be the team that takes us into season number 3. What a team we have built in such a small amount of time. I do actually think this team has got a very good chance of being in the playoff mix, and if we can secure a spot in the playoffs this season, I will be absolutely over the moon. And this season I felt it necessary to cut our ties with a lot of the deadwood in the squad, as they've got no chance of getting into the team, and it also frees up some wages heading into future seasons. And that will be our transfer window officially shut for season number 3. There'll be no more incomings and no more outgoings. And that leaves us with nothing left to do but simulate forward straight through to the end of season 3. And like I've already said, I just want to see us in and around them playoff positions. We've arrived at the end of season number 3, boys, and we did in fact finish in the playoffs in 6th position on 80 points, meaning we'd be taking on 3rd place Sheffield United for a place at Wembley. And look at the other playoff semi-final, Ipswich versus Norwich in the playoff semi-final. That is absolutely massive. Let's now check to see if we got promoted to the Premier League. Now in the semi-final we would batter Sheffield United 4-1 over 2 legs, and Ipswich would batter the arch rivals Norwich 3-1 over 2 legs. It's now Ipswich Town versus Fleetwood Town for a place in the Premier League, and we have done it, boys. We have beaten Ipswich Town 3-1 at Wembley Stadium, securing 3 consecutive promotions. Are you joking me? Fleetwood Town are in the Premier League, and we had an excellent run in the FA Cup as well, making the quarterfinals, where unfortunately we drew Manchester City and they battered us 4-1. And the starting 11 is looking absolutely excellent. No surprises at all that we have been promoted to the Premier League. Bianco becomes the first 80 rated player of the rebuild, with Guzman and Sarkisian not far behind. I think that team is definitely a top-end Championship level side, but it is going to need reinforcements to keep us in the Premier League. We have to replace Medley at left centre-back. We have to replace Helm at centre-attacking midfield. I feel like we need a new right midfielder to replace Pasalic, and I would in fact be open to replacing Ryan Brewster at 74 rated. He is a very good Championship level striker. However, I feel if we could bring a striker in who's more along the same ability level of Sauer, we'd have a much better chance of staying up. Now in terms of stats, Kamal Sauer has just been insane in this rebuild. He scored 29 times and got 12 assists and was a pivotal part in our promotion. So what a run of seasons we have had. 3 consecutive promotions is just crazy. But after looking at the squad, I really ain't surprised to see that we've done it. We are now officially a Premier League side. We have to nail the signings and we have to keep Fleetwood up in season 4. So we have arrived in season 4. 36 million pounds is sitting in our bank account. We can literally bring pretty much any free agent we want to the club. Let's get the ball rolling. So we have kicked off our preparations for life in the Premier League with 3 free agent signings who massively make the team better. Kicking things off with a potential wonder kid, Charles Mendy. He is 17 year old, 75 rated, can play on the left wing, right wing and at striker. We are going to be training him to be a right midfielder. Our second pickup was left-footed centre-back John Pacheco. He is 26 year old, 76 rated, very good stats for a wide centre-back, with the 80 short pass coming in clutch, worth 8 million. Should do a job for us for a couple of seasons out on the left side of our defence, and he's a huge upgrade at the back. And our most high-profile signing is a new centre-attacking midfielder. Franco Watson joins the club on a 5-year deal. He's 24 year old, 77 rated, very decent stats, worth 11 million. He will be our starting centre-attacking midfielder going into season number 4. With all our new signings added to the starting 11, this will be the Fleetwood Town team to take us into season 4 on our first season in the Premier League. As you can see, we have not managed to replace Ryan Brewster up front. The striking options on the free agents list were absolutely woeful. I do think though we've got a pretty decent team on paper. I'm expecting players like Guzman, Sarkisian and Watson to reach 80 rated this season, which would really help us out. I think the team should have enough on paper to avoid relegation, but it is going to be a difficult challenge. The bench does look stronger though, with players like Pasalic, Helm and Medley added to the fold. And in this transfer window, we are also not expecting any outgoings at all, as the squad is actually quite small in terms of squad size. So as far as I'm concerned, the transfer window is pretty much finished. I am going to have one last scour through the free agents list to see if there's anyone worth picking up, but as of right now, our window is done. And you know what, boys, I'm so glad I had one last look on the free agents list, because I've actually managed to find a striker. Adriano Bertaccini is in, 26-year-old, 75 rated, really decent striker, slightly better than Brewster and a year younger. He has signed on a 3-year deal, and that drops Brewster down to the bench, and he will be an excellent sub option in the Premier League. And that rounds off our transfer window, and to be honest with you boys, there's not much more we can really do other than simulate forward straight through to the end of season 4. Let's keep our fingers and toes crossed that we stay in the Premier League this season, because if we go down, I'll be absolutely gutted. So we have arrived at the end of season number 4, and what a season we have had, finishing 13th in the Premier League on 45 points. Absolutely nowhere near the relegation zone, and only actually 2 points off a top half finish. Considering we've got a team full of free agents to go from League 2 all the way to the Premier League and cement ourselves as a Premier League side in just 4 seasons is fantastic. And hopefully in season 5 we can get the right additions in and hopefully get a top half finish. However, we would have a very disappointing FA Cup run, getting knocked out in the 3rd round by Liverpool 1-0. However, that is a very, very difficult opponent, so no real shame in losing to them. So this is the Fleetwood Town team at the end of season number 4, and we have actually seen some really nice growth. Guzman and Sarkisian are both now over 80 rated, with Bianco 84 rated, one of the best player in the squad. Mendes had a good season in terms of growth as well, reaching 78 rated, and Sauer is almost 80 rated, which we love to see. Now, where do I want to improve this team in season number 5? Well, we definitely need a right midfielder and a striker, if any are available, and we will scour the entire free agents list, lads, just to see who is available, because if there's anyone we can bring in this starting 11 who is better than a current player already starting for us, we are definitely going to sign them. But we've got a decent bench as well. We will be looking to bring in another backup central midfielder, as Ryan Broom is no longer good enough. So hopefully in season 5 the free agents list is teeming with talent. Now in terms of stats, I am really surprised. Adriano Bertaccini was actually our best player, getting 20 goals and 2 assists. What a first season for our new man. So season 4 was an absolute roaring success. Our goal was just to stay up in the Premier League, and we did that comfortably. We are now getting into season 5 and we want to try and get into the top half. So we have arrived in season number 5 and we have got £27 million in the bank. Now if this wasn't a free agent only rebuild, I would be fuming with this budget. However, 27 million should enable us to bring in whoever we want from the free agents list. So we have had a scour of the free agents list, and we have brought in 3 players who definitely make the squad much better. Our first signing was veteran midfielder Renato Sanchez, joining us on a 3-year deal. He is 78 rated, 30 years old, with really well-rounded stats, proper box-to-box midfielder, and he'll be an excellent rotation player. The second signing of season number 5 was a winger, Noah Wiebhaupt. I'm 100% certain I have absolutely butchered his name. He is 26 years old, he's 77 rated, has decent stats, and he is an improvement on Cherlanov, so we're going to be retraining him to a right midfielder, and he will be our first choice right midfielder for season 5. And now it is time for the pick of the bunch, boys. We have brought a brand new striker to the club, Jakub Malinowski. He is 19 years old, he is 80 rated with fantastic stats, absolutely rapid, and he's also very strong as well with 83 finishing. Worth 35 million, he's an exciting prospect. What a signing this is. I'm really excited to see how he gets on in season number 5. Now we are going to have one final scour of the free agents list just to see who we can find, and if we can't find anyone to bring into the club, we have got a few players listed for transfer. Fairly confident that's our transfer window done. Now we did also decide to let some players go in this transfer window, as I felt like the squad were getting a little bit too big. Every player who has left the club had no chance of ever playing any minutes for us again, and that rounds off our transfer window, meaning this will be the Fleetwood Town team to take us into season number 5. I think we've really improved the starting 11 by bringing in Malinowski and Wiebhaupt. I'm absolutely butchering his name, I know. Adding Sanchez to the bench definitely elevates the ability level of our bench, and you know what, I actually think we've got a really well-rounded, really balanced bench, and we've actually got plenty of options there who can definitely influence games, which could gain us some more points this season. Now with our transfer window done, I don't think there's much more we can do other than simulate forward straight through to the end of season 5. Hopefully we have secured that top half finish. So we have arrived at the end of season number 5, boys, and we have secured our top half Premier League finish, finishing 10th in the league, bang on top half on 56 points. I think, lads, we were only actually 5 points off finishing 6th, which I think's Europa League football. Could be mistaken though. That is actually very, very impressive, and with the right additions next season, we could definitely sneak into them Conference League places, or we could just win the Carabao Cup and qualify for the Conference League anyway. Absolutely unbelievable, boys. A 10th place finish followed up with a Carabao Cup trophy. I think that is Fleetwood Town's first ever major trophy in their history. They beat Man City 1-0 in the final to clinch it. However, our run in the FA Cup would stop in the 4th round. We're getting really difficult draws. We drew Arsenal and they beat us 3-0. No shame in that once again. So this is the Fleetwood Town team that has secured us a top half finish and won us our first ever major trophy. Team's looking fantastic on paper. We've got some genuine world class players in the starting 11 like Bianco and Sarkisian. Loads of the squad are now 80 rated, which we love to see. We really are developing at a good rate. I do think though, going into season number 6, we're once again going to have to look for a winger, as we perhaps just hasn't grown at a desired rate. We definitely need a new central midfielder to replace O'Brien. Him and Sanchez are good players, but they're both aging. We need a younger, more improved model who's got higher potential, who can rival Sarkisian, as at 86 rated he's leaving him in the dust. They'll be our primary targets in season number 6, but we will also scour the entire free agents list and see who we can bring in, as we're always looking to improve this team. And lads, unfortunately we have had some bad news. We are going to be losing Gutierrez and Brewster. Both players handed in transfer requests as they did not get much game time last season, and they both would not accept new deals, so they both will be leaving the club for free, unfortunately. Now in terms of stats, Kamal Sawa was back to his best, getting 27 goals and 5 assists. He is a fantastic player who just keeps firing in the goals for us. So season 5 was just yet more progress on the pitch, which we love to see. We're now getting into season 6. Hopefully the free agents list serves up some gems for us and we can make an attempt to just keep progressing on the pitch. So we've arrived in season 6, 37 million in the bank. Let's get to work bringing some free agents to Fleetwood Town. So boys, we have gone out into the free agent market and made 3 very good signings. However, let's kick off our season 6 transfer business with Saidi Peck, a 76 rated 24-year-old central midfielder who is 6'1" and has very good stats. He'll be an excellent rotation player for us and he's got plenty of room to develop as well. Now on to our first real major signing of the summer. Peter DeLiu has joined the club on a 5-year deal. He is 19 years old, he is 80 rated, worth 32.5 million, is an exciting prospect. He'll go straight into our starting 11. He looks like a fantastic player, and it is no time for the pick of the bunch, boys. The best signing of the rebuild today, Logan Adam, is in. 18 years old, 83 rated, worth 65 million, has potential to be special with insane stats. Easily the best signing of the rebuild so far. We asked for a central midfielder and FC25 has give us one, and I'm really excited about how our team's looking heading into season number 6. And with Adam and DeLiu added to the team, look at how strong our starting 11 is looking going into the new season. Only Weebhaps is underneath 80 rated. The squad's looking so strong. Our bench is absolutely stacked as well. We have built a really strong squad here at Fleetwood Town, and I really think we have got an excellent chance of getting Champions League football this season with this set of lads. So our transfer window is officially completed, and our Conference League phase fixtures have been announced. Our standout fixtures of the league phase will be Molde, Valencia and AZ Alkmaar. So we have got some pretty difficult games in the league phase, but I can't see any reason at all why we cannot win this competition this season. We are now going to be simulating forward straight through to the end of the season. I'd love us to get in the Champions League spots, boys, as our team is now looking really strong. So we have arrived at the end of season number 6, boys, and we have secured a 3rd place finish with Fleetwood Town in the Premier League, meaning Champions League football is coming to Highbury. Finished on 66 points, scored 77 goals, won 19 of our games, exactly half, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Fleetwood get on in the Champions League. Now in the FA Cup we made the 5th round and got knocked out by Newcastle on penalties in what looked like a very entertaining game. And lads, we would actually go on to make the Conference League final where Leipzig beat us 3-2. No shame in that, really glad we got to the final, and that should give us some good experience heading into the Champions League in season 7. So this is the Fleetwood Town team at the end of season number 6, and the squad is looking absolutely fantastic on paper. The only position that's really concerning me is right midfield, so hopefully there's a really good right midfielder on the free agents list. Adam and Sarkisian look like fantastic central midfielders. As always, we will scour the entire free agents list, and if there's anyone we can bring in who makes the team better in any position, we will sign them. I do also think that our bench is starting to look really strong as well. Loads of options on the bench with O'Brien being 80 rated. I just really hope there's some gems on the free agents list next season. Now in terms of stats, what a season Jakub Malinowski's had. 46 goals and 9 assists in all competitions, really has carried us this season. So an absolutely excellent 6th season is in the history books. We're now getting into season 7, and let's just see what the free agents list offers up to us. So we've arrived in season 7, we've got a huge transfer budget, and now we can get to it bringing some more free agents to the club. And heading into the Champions League, the free agents list has actually been quite kind to us. We have picked up an absolute superstar centre-back, Martin Muller, 21 years old, 83 rated, left-footed, an exciting prospect. perfect. Looks absolutely incredible, and he will be our new first choice left centre back. We then signed 2 players who will fill in as rotation options on the bench. The first being central midfielder Joe Willock. He's 81 rated, 30-year-old, really well-rounded stats. Should definitely do a job off the bench for the next couple of seasons. Now, there weren't many right mid and left midfield options on the free agents list, which was really disappointing. So we have brought in right back Lorenz Assignon, who is 80 rated and 30-year-old, and he has got really decent stats, and he can also play right mid. Signed on a 3-year deal, and he will be a rotation option, but I do think he'll be able to play right midfield looking at his stats. With all our new signings above 80 rated, I think we've done really well in this window. Now, with our transfer business concluded, heading into season number 7, this will be the starting 11, and on paper it looks like a very strong team. I am just missing a decent right midfielder, which hopefully will come over the next coming seasons. With Willock and Assignon added to the bench along with Pacheco, that bench is very strong, undeniably, and we've got plenty of options, and we've actually built a really good squad because our reserves has got good players as well. Now, lads, despite finishing... Oh, lads, I think something's gone on here, as we're actually only in the Europa League this season. Now, I may have to go back and recheck the footage, but had the season not actually fully ended when I checked the fixtures? Did other teams still have a few games to play at the end of the season when we check the league table? I'm a little bit confused, but we will be playing in the Europa League this season. With the squad we've got, I think we're one of the favourites to win it. So a real disappointment there, boys. I actually thought we were a Champions League side. Obviously not. I must have not checked something somewhere. I don't know. This has never actually happened to me before in FC25. We're now going to simulate forward straight through to the end of season 7. Hopefully this season we can qualify for the Champions League, and I hope we can win the Europa League. So we have arrived at the end of season number 7, boys, and you better strap yourselves in. This has been a crazy season. Let's kick things off by announcing that we have won the Premier League title with Fleetwood Town on goal difference. That's right, us and Aston Villa finished on 74 points, and we won the title by 3 goals. That is absolutely crazy, and we would go on to make it a domestic double, boys, as we beat Manchester City 2-0 in the FA Cup final, adding a first ever FA Cup trophy to Fleetwood Town's trophy cabinet. And we would actually complete a domestic treble, beating Manchester City yet again in another cup final in the Carabao Cup, beating them 2-1 to secure our second Carabao Cup trophy of the rebuild. That's actually pretty insane, as we never normally win the Carabao Cup, but we couldn't win 4 trophies in one season, as we did actually make the Europa League semi-finals, where we lost 3-2 over 2 legs to Juventus. So 3 trophies added to our trophy cabinet this season, a domestic treble completed. That is absolutely ludicrous. But looking at that team, it is all starting to make sense to me. That team is absolutely frightening on paper. 2 90 rated players in the team in Malinowski and Adam, with Sarkisian not far behind. Sower's actually reached 88 rated at 30-year-old. The guy's insane. Back 3 and goalkeeper look really strong as well. That team is just incredible, and I think we're now at the stage of the rebuild where there's probably going to be no free agents who actually get into our first team. We will be once again scouring for a right midfielder to replace Weepap. I just cannot see there being one to replace him. Our bench is also looking really strong, and so are our reserves. Genuinely, we have built one of our strongest ever squads in FC25, only using free agents, and that is absolutely insane. Now, in terms of stats, Jakub Malinowski could be one of the best players I've used in FC25. 14 goals and 13 assists is absolutely insane. But Sower and Adam were absolutely incredible as well. Sower got 35 goals, which is a joke. Adam would get 23 goals and 23 assists. He is 91 rated and 19-year-old. So what can I say, boys? One of the most successful seasons we have had in FC25. All we now need to do is add a Champions League trophy to our trophy cabinet. So we've arrived in season 8, boys. We've got a massive transfer budget, and now we could really do with the free agents list giving us a good winger. So lads, after a very long scour of the free agents list, you will notice we have not made any signings. Well, the free agents list this summer has just offered us no viable options to even get onto our bench, if I'm honest. It's been a really poor intake of free agents, which is really disappointing for me personally. But it's looking like there's going to be no signings at all in season 8, which is pretty disappointing, as I would have liked to bring a new first choice winger into the club. On a more positive note, we are kicking off season 8 with yet another trophy with Fleetwood Town. We win the Community Shield, beating Aston Villa 1-0 thanks to an 87th minute Bertocchini winner. Fantastic way to start off season 8. And after the confusion of finishing 3rd in season 6 but not getting Champions League in season 7, it's really refreshing to see that we've actually been placed in the Champions League this season. It was just teetering in the back of my mind, was it a bug? Do you know what? We've been smashing trophies off recently. I think this season we can definitely get to a semi-final, maybe even a final. But let's just see what happens by simulating forward straight through to the end of the season. So we have arrived at the end of season number 8, boys, and well, we are seriously dominating English football as we have won consecutive Premier League trophies, but this time we finished on 88 points, 14 points clear of second place Newcastle, only losing 6 of our 38 games, scoring 82 goals. We have been absolutely incredible this season. But in the FA Cup, we would get knocked out to Championship side Stoke City 1-0 in the 4th round. However, we have made the Champions League final at the first time of asking. And trust me, lads, we have done this in style. We would finish 3rd in the league phase on 17 points, only losing 1 of our 8 games. In the round of 16, we would knock out Real Madrid despite losing the second leg. We won 5-3 over 2 legs. That is a serious scalp to claim in the round of 16. In the quarterfinals, we would batter Borussia Dortmund 7-1 over 2 legs. And very interestingly, Barcelona also knocked Copenhagen out 7-1 over 2 legs as well. But in the semi-finals, we would put on a show in France, knocking PSG out, beating them 5-1 over 2 legs to set up a tie with Barcelona in the final. And this is going to be the Fleetwood Town team that we are taking into the Champions League final. It's looking absolutely unreal on paper. We've got a list of 90 rated players, with Adam and Malinowski being 93 rated. Our goalkeeper backline's looking strong, midfield looking extremely strong, and our front two look absolutely lethal, both over 90 rated. My one major issue with this rebuild has been, however, we've only got 3 non-regen players in our starting 11 in Sauer, Watson and Whiphart. And in terms of stats, Jakub Malinowski, I'm going to say it is the most prolific player we have used in FC25. He has got yet another 40 goal season, scoring 42 goals and getting 12 assists. The best player we have used so far in this game. Just need to turn it on one more time in the Champions League final, as we'll be taking on Barcelona for the chance to make Fleetwood Town the best team in the world. So here we go, boys. It is Champions League final time. We are taking on Barcelona, who have got a squad full of extremely talented players. So we bapped. Chance. Lads, we're 10 minutes in. We bapped. It's in, boys. We have scored inside 10 minutes. It's the player whose name I've been butchering all video. Our lowest rated player in the starting 11 we bapped. And it's 1-0 to Fleetwood Town. He has all the space in the world. And I think the keeper should be doing better. I can't lie. It's in the corner. He just finds himself in so much room. 10 minutes on the clock and we are already 1-0 up in this final. Gotta get a foot in. What a save by Guzman. Oh, very nearly an own goal from Muller. We're lucky that's gone behind, to be honest. So we bapped in. He's in again. There's so much space on this side. There's a sweat on. There's a sweat on as well. I'm gonna sweat. Ball across. Onto Malinowski. 2-0 inside. 27 minutes. So much space down that right-hand side. We've caught Barcelona out twice in the opening half an hour. We've made them pay twice in the opening half an hour. And it's 2-0 to Fleetwood Town. It's okay. Could be in. And he's at the post. Oh my god. Very nearly an instant response from Bas. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Save it. For God's sake. Right, I did say Barca were looking dangerous coming forward. Victor Roque does pull a goal back for Barcelona. And that's half time, boys. We're 2-1 up. We've only really had 2 chances, but we have made Barca pay on 2 occasions. We have got the lead going into the second half, but we do need to sort our defence out, as Barca are looking like they're going to score every single time they come forward. Franco has not really been able to get in the game. I'm actually going to make a substitution on 60 minutes. Franco Watson just cannot get into this game. I feel like if we can put Joe Willock on in a centre attacking midfield position, I do feel like, even though he's not got as much quality, his stats are more well-rounded, and we may be able to bring him into the game more than Watson, who's been largely anonymous in this final. A lot closer the second half. Oh, there's a lot of space for me to get into there. We saw have a dig, and it's a good save by Gregor Cabela for the actual first shot of the second half. The Barca have just brought Lamine Yamal on, so can we get a third? Can we put a bit of gloss on the scoreline? Bianco shoots. Oh my god. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. No, I'm rear it. Let's see if it defenders attack. Get it out. It's out by Sarkisian. Good tackle. Will it clear it? It's cleared at the pitch. And we have done it, boys. We have beaten Barcelona in the Champions League final. 2-1. Backs to the wall stuff after our second goal. But who cares? Fleetwood Town are the champions of Europe, using only free agents. And this is the moment we've all been waiting for, boys. Fleetwood Town are officially the champions of Europe, using only free agents, and that is another rebuild successfully boxed off. I just want to say a massive thank you for watching the video. If you have enjoyed it, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, as it does help me out. We are trying to get 5,000 subs on the channel, and I will see you next week for another rebuild.